Hi beauties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my DIY rosemary water. Now guys, this is one recipe that I highly recommend you give a try. It's not one of those random recipes or DIYs you see online that don't work. There's actually been studies that prove rosemary helps to grow your hair. So I honestly have gone back to like my DIYs because when I was in Ukraine, my hair was the healthiest and thickest it's ever been. And that's because I was doing a lot of DIYs. My deep conditioner, my leave-in, my shampoo, my conditioner, everything was all DIY. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stick around till the end of this video. So the first part of this video is me showing you guys how I make the rosemary water. Now I have two methods, one using fresh rosemary and the other using dried rosemary. They're both the same thing. No one is better than the other. So if you're using fresh rosemary, I highly recommend you get the organic ones, and then of course you're going to wash your rosemary sticks to make sure that they are nice and clean. And I have the instructions here in case I keep looking down. So for my measurements, I use 1 stick of rosemary per 1 cup of distilled water. If you want to use tap water, please make sure it's filtered. If not, distilled water is the best option, honestly. I did use the entire pack of rosemary because I just didn't want it to sit in the fridge. You don't have to use that much, but if you do want to make a large batch, I'll show you guys also how to preserve it. So next I'm gonna let it simmer for 15 minutes, but you can actually let the water boil before adding the rosemary sticks, or you can put the rosemary sticks in, let it simmer for 15 minutes and then turn off the heat. And you want to let it sit in the water for another 2 to 3 hours until it's cool. You can use it after 2 to 3 hours, but I highly recommend you let it sit in the water overnight. So I put mine in the fridge and just let it, extra marinate. I wanted to get more nutrients out of the rosemary. So the next day I strained it and then I added it to my applicator bottle. Now for the extra rosemary water that I had, I stored it in the freezer so it can last a really long time in the freezer since it's frozen. But for the one in my applicator bottle, please store it in the fridge. Do not leave it on your counter because bacteria and mold are just gonna be all up in there. You do not want to put that on your scalp. It can last up to 2 weeks, but honestly, if you use it every day, which I did, after about a week, I needed another batch. So I just took out the one from the freezer, let it defrost and transferred it back into the applicator bottle. So that is basically all the steps to make your rosemary water with fresh rosemary. Now onto dried rosemary, which for me is the easiest, and like that's probably what I'm going to be doing because it saves me money and going to the store to buy fresh rosemary. So of course you want to make sure it's organic as well, and I use 1 cup, or was it half a cup? I don't know, I can't remember, I'll put it on the screen. I think half a cup of rosemary and 3 cups of distilled water. So I went ahead to boil my distilled water and added the water to the half a cup of rosemary or dried rosemary, and I just covered it and let it sit overnight. It's that easy, guys. You don't need to boil nothing, you don't need to simmer nothing. Just add some hot water in there, cover it and let it sit overnight. Because it's dried, you don't have to put it in the fridge. It can sit on the counter overnight. And then the next morning I went ahead to strain my rosemary. As you can see, the color is absolutely lush. It's so beautiful. Like, it's definitely darker than the fresh rosemary. Please store it in the fridge for 2 weeks. Of course, the extra or the leftover rosemary water, I stored it in the freezer as well. So that is basically how to make your rosemary water. Some people add mint leaves, some people add cinnamon in there. It's all preference. I personally love the smell of rosemary, but I know that sometimes people add mint and cinnamon to like conceal the smell. For me, the smell doesn't linger. That's another good thing about rosemary. Once it dries, that's it, it's out of your hair. But next time I think I might try cinnamon because cinnamon actually grows your hair according to research, so I might just try that. But honestly, rosemary water on its own is perfect. You don't need to add no essential oils, you don't need to add nothing. That on its own is chef's kiss. Next part of this video is me telling you guys how to use rosemary water. Now you can use this every day. It is safe to use it every day. I used it every day for I think about three and a half weeks when I had cornrows in. I'll tell you guys my experience at the end of this video, but yeah, it is safe to use every day. Please apply it only to your scalp. I mean, you can apply it to the length of your hair, but the benefits are directly on your scalp. So applying it to the length of your hair is really you just wasting the rosemary water. I don't think it does any anything per se. So apply directly to your scalp, and then I go in with my DIY Ayurvedic hair oil, which I have a video up or is coming up right after this video, I don't know, and I seal that in. I only oil my scalp 2 to 3 times a week, not every time I use the rosemary water, because rosemary water is not drying at all. I know I've heard clove water is super duper drying. Guys, rosemary water is probably one of the most moisturizing waters or moisturizers that I've ever used, and I love our aloe vera juice because it makes my hair super duper moisturized. But guys, rosemary might be up here and aloe vera juice might be here. That's how moisturizing it is. You don't have to massage your scalp. If you want to, fine, but yeah, let it air dry. I highly recommend applying this a couple of hours before you go to bed or in the morning, you know, just so that the air can just dry your hair out, because you do not want to like have wet scalp or wet hair and then cover with a satin scarf and then go to bed. It's not cute. Okay, so please give yourself enough time for your hair to air dry. So next, my personal experience with rosemary water. One thing I regret is I didn't actually measure my hair when I started using rosemary water, because to be honest, I didn't think it was gonna work. I thought it was just one of those random DIYs, but I've definitely noticed a thickness, and also my hair was so soft, guys. I don't know if it's because I was moisturizing my hair every day, but when I took out my cornrows, right, I had my cornrows in for about 4 weeks, and when I took them out, it was such a breeze to detangle my hair, guys. Like, I feel like that was the quickest wash day I've ever had. It actually helps with my itchy scalp. I don't know if that's the me thing, but I noticed that my scalp wasn't as itchy as it normally would be. Before I got braids, I actually measured my hair just so I can check to see if this rosemary is actually helping with growth. But I don't use it every day because obviously it's braids and I just don't want it to get messy quickly, so I always skip a day. But so far so good. I can't wait to get cornrows again because I'm going to be using that every single day. It's easier to wash my hair in cornrows, but like in braids it's quite tricky. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I highly recommend you try rosemary water. It's so easy. It's very popular for a reason, because it actually works. Of course, you want to give yourself at least, I would say, 2 to 3 months to see like proper progress, but the quick results I saw is that it made my hair super duper moisturized and very manageable, and it also helped with my itchy scalp. The rosemary I use will be linked in the description box, and also my applicator bottle. Feel free to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in my next one. God bless. Bye guys.